and we are on the Liberty News Radio Network. LibertyNewsRadio.com is our first day syndicated with them. We're honored to be with them also today. So we will be coming back after the break with Lieutenant Colonel Bob Bowman.
Patriots.us.
Oh yeah, I have that written here, and we'll definitely want to go into that before we end today's interview and let you go into what's going on with your website. I believe the last time I checked, you said there was 22. We're coming back on, Dr. Bowman.
Okay.
Stand by.
A 9-year-old.
All right, we're back on Real News Radio, and go ahead, Dr. Bowman, with that last question, and then I got one more for you. And again, we certainly do appreciate you joining us today.
Well, thank you. By the way, you asked about the Iraq War. This is not a war. It never was. In the beginning, it was an assault, an aggressive invasion, shock and awe, bombardment. It was a unilateral act of destruction, and what it has become over the last 6 years is an illegal occupation. And, you know, we're not over there fighting Al-Qaeda. We're not fighting insurgents. We're fighting residents. We're fighting the people who live there. And, you know, that's always a losing proposition. You can't win an occupation. And when they talk, you know, I mean, Bush and McCain, when are talking about victory in Iraq, you know, I don't know what that means, but yeah, we could kill all the Iraqis and you know, pave the whole place with concrete and make it a parking lot. If you call that victory, fine, but you know, that's the United States is not supposed to be the aggressor. We're supposed to be the good guys. That's the way our founding fathers started us off, and how we have wound up on the wrong side of all of these conflicts and invading sovereign countries who have never attacked us, and even by our government's official standards had absolutely nothing to do with 9/11. It's tragic, and we need to stop it. And I was encouraged that Obama opposed the Iraq War even before it started, like we did. But you know, taking 18 months to wind the thing down and then leaving 50,000 people there, that to me is not what we ought to be doing. But the worst of it is that he's taking a lot of those folks out of there and putting them in Afghanistan, where we have no business either. The war in Afghanistan is just as wrong as the war on Iraq. Afghanistan, you know, even if you assume that Osama bin Laden had something to do with 9/11, and there's no evidence of that, the Taliban offered us bin Laden if we would put him on trial. But we didn't want that because of course, our government had no evidence against him. Instead, the war on Afghanistan, which was planned even before 9/11, was about an oil and gas pipeline. Unocal wanted to build the pipeline through there. They had been negotiating with the Taliban. The Taliban were even invited to Bush's ranch in Texas and palled around with him there. And Bush thought he had the pipeline deal, and the Taliban changed their minds. Well, we then, our government threatened Afghanistan, saying, look, we can carpet you in gold or we can carpet you in bombs. It's your choice. And the war against Afghanistan was planned before 9/11. 9/11 happening, whoever caused it again, was an excuse to invade Afghanistan, to seize the route of that pipeline, and to install as our puppet leader Karzai, who, guess what? Before he was installed as the president of Afghanistan, he was a major figure in UNICAL. And so the whole thing is ludicrous to say that, well, Iraq was wrong, but Afghanistan was a war of necessity, and we need to... No, it is just as phony. The whole war on terror is phony, and it's all for the profits of these multinational corporations and banks.
Well, your website, thepatriot.us, we urge everyone to go there and keep up with the information that you're giving out. And I've got one last question for you.
Now, be sure it's The Patriots, plural.
The Patriots, I'm sorry.
US. If you leave the THE off, you just get the football team. Make sure thepatriots.us.
I got one last question for you today, and that is, we know Obama is a gun grabber. Our Second Amendment rights are under attack. Bullets are flying off the shelves. This past week, the DOD announced it will no longer sell brass to gun bullet manufacturers to reuse. What's your opinion of our Second Amendment? What are we going to see under the Obama administration?
Well, I don't know. There's quite a battle going on, even internally there. And, you know, I happen to be, besides everything else, a retired archbishop in the United Catholic Church. I preach nonviolence. I've given up my guns, and I personally believe that nonviolence is more powerful than violent resistance. But the fact is that the Second Amendment gives the American people the right to bear arms. And the purpose of that is not to shoot a burglar coming into your home. It has nothing to do with hunting. The Second Amendment, its whole purpose is to allow the American people to resist tyranny by their own government.
Amen.
That's what the Second Amendment is all about. And even though personally I don't want to do it, I will put my body on the line nonviolently to protect your right to your guns, because that's the way the Constitution reads.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us today, and we want to have you back on from time to time. It is an honor to have had you with us. And again, your website, thepatriots.us. I'll give you the last word if there's anything you'd like to add today.
Well, with all that horrible that's going on, and with all the disappointment of all of the status quoers surrounding Obama and not seeing a whole lot of change, I still think that we ought to have hope, because we the people outnumber them. We are ultimately stronger with them. We are the ones with sovereignty. We need to come together and take back our country.
And Dr. Bowman, we'll be in touch here again shortly regarding your speaking engagements, and we'll get some of that going.
Great.
Well, thank you again for joining us. It was an honor to have you on The Real News, and we will have you back on again later, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, that was an honor to have him on. I thought it was some really good information. Again, his website, thepatriots.us, if you would like to read some more information.
And that website right now is on the front page of therealnewsradio.com.
We've got just a couple of minutes before we come up on a break. We would like to take, if anyone would like to call in, make it quick before we go off the air. The phone numbers are 704-873-1400, and the Davie County number is 336-499-0681. And so we've got just a couple minutes. You want to go ahead and give us a quote of the week, Brian?
I have a few quotes of the week here to give some perspective into the financial debacle. This is December 28th, 1929. Maintenance of a general high level of business in the United